lecture, we have understand about the configuration of the steel roof truss, that how we can calculate all the configuration like rise, angle of repose, and all that. So the geometric portion of our steel roof truss is been completed. Now let's move on to the load calculation. So starting with the load calculation. Okay. So I'm sharing on screen here. This is a Study with Me Academy, and I am Dhruv Patel. So let's start with the another step. Let's memorize some of the things that we have understand in the previous lecture with the summary portion that we have calculated about the. This is the summary. We have calculated the center rise, that was 3.75, length of PR, that was 8.38 meter, angle of repose 26.56 degree, plan area is 45 meters square, slope area is 50.28 meters square, and number of panels is 10. Okay, so let's start with the calculation. So today's lecture is about the calculation of step 2. Today is our step 2, which is load calculation. Okay, in load calculation, the number one load is first load is dead load calculation. Now, dead load calculations. The first of all, let me make you understand what is dead load. Dead load means the self weight of material. Any material we used in the roof truss, the that material poses its own weight, is known as self weight, which is dead load, which will be as it is same throughout the life year of the roof truss. So let make one geometry like this. The roof truss is there. Sorry. Uh, I'm very much good in drawing, but by using this pen tab, I'm not able to draw perfectly. So please, sorry for that. I'm um apologizing for that. Oh, this is roof truss. So first of all, we will put a covering material on it, which is known as roof covering material. The roof covering material are made up of two types. So first weight will be of self weight of roof covering material. Okay. So now roof covering material are of two types. Uh, so ACC sheet and galvanized iron sheet. Galvanized iron sheet. Okay, these two types are basic. If you want more details about that, then you will get on the IS 875, which is Indian Standard 875 Part 1. Okay, there you will get the information about the dead load, which is only for dead load. Now, here it depends on us that what we want to assume, that which type of ACC sheet or GI sheet we are going to provide. So the sheet will be appear like this on roof truss. Like this way, the sheet will be appear on roof truss. You have seen the live everywhere. Okay. So now, if the weight of the sheet is not given in the question, then you have to assume it. And the criteria are given in between which value we have to assume. We need to assume the weight per meter square. So if we are using AC sheet, then we can assume it between 120 Newton per meter square to 150 Newton per meter square. If we are using galvanized iron sheet, then we can assume 120 Newton per meter square to 130 Newton per meter square. Okay, it means it is per meter square load is given. Okay, 120 to 150. Let us assume ACC sheet. And let us assume here AC sheet it at the rate 130 Newton per meter square. I am assuming 130 Newton per meter square in between 120 to 150. Now the question will arise that this ACC sheet roof covering material, on which portion it will apply the load. The load on the roof truss will apply in two portions, either slope area or plan area. That we have already found the slope area and plan area both. Slope area is 50.28 meters square and the plan area is 45 meters square. The roof covering material is above roof portion. Above. We are providing the seating above the slopy portion. That's why it will apply the force on the slope area. That's why we are providing these roof sheets above the roof. That's why it will apply the load on the slope area. So the load will occur on the slope area. Okay, that's why 130 into slope area is equal to 130 into 50.28. So we will get the answer in Newton value. So 130 into 50.28. So the answer is 6536.4 Newton, which is the answer is 6536.4 Newton. This is our first. Okay. So I hope you all understand in this step. It's nothing but the providing a seat, which is per meter square load is 120 to 150 for ACC seat, 120 to 130 plus GI seat, and the we only need to calculate it with the area because we have to find the load in the Newton or in the kilonewton. So the load, so we have multiplied it by slope area because it applies the load on slope portion. Now moving forward to the another sub load of the dead load. So another sub load of the dead load is self weight of purlin. Okay, so first question arises that where the purlins come. Let make you understand by drawing some geometry of the. If this is the roof truss, I'm zooming some of the portion of the roof truss with my drawing skill. I hope you like my drawing. I do better drawing. Okay, I'm zooming this much portion. Some of the part of this much. Okay, that I'm zooming. So that understand by that zooming portion. So here will be the strut member. Okay, here will be one strut member, and some of that here will be one strut member will go on the roof portion. Okay, this is the portion. This will be throughout its length. Means if some of the after some of the spacing one intermediate truss also come, that it will be repeated. So for supporting the portion of the roof covering material, some angle portion means the portion of this will go throughout this like that. For roof covering material, one angle section is provided here that will connect it this side with bolts and this side also with bolts. Okay. This is the angle portion that we have provided. Okay, it will also go throughout the length. Okay, so this angle section is purlin. It's either been used of angle section, channel section, or any of them. Okay, so purlin, the role of purlin is to support the roof covering material and to transfer the load to the plan area and to transfer the load to the plan area. So here it is clear that the purlin will transfer the load to the plan area. Okay. Now, if the value of purlin is given, weight of purlin is given, then you can take as it is as per the question. But if not given, then we need to assume. So the assumption, assume the purlin weight. It is between 60 Newton meter per meter square to 90 Newton per meter square. In between these we can provide 60 also and we can provide 90 also, or we can select from the middle also. So let us assume here, so let us assume 90 Newton per meter square. Okay, it occurs on plan area. In general way I can say that if you are standing here, suddenly the roof falls and you will provide your hand to stop the roof or to support the roof. The hand portion is in on the shape of the angle shape. Okay, will become in the shape of the angles. It is supporting the roof. Just this is the live example of the pulley, and it will transfer the load from the body through plan area. Okay, this is the simple example. So it occurs on plan area. That's why 90 Newton per meter square into plan area. And our plan area is 45. So 90 into 45. So our answer will get 4050. What? 4050 Newton. This is our second one. Okay, first one was through roof covering material. The second one is due to purlin. The third one. Now moving forward to the third one. So the sub load of third due to span. Dead load on roof truss due to span. It means as the span increases, the value of dead load also increases. The logic is that if the span increases, the number of members used or the roof truss also increases. That's why the dead load also will be increases. So the formula is fixed for calculating the dead load on roof truss due to span. The formula is as below, which is 10 into span by 3 plus 5 Newton per meter square. So our span is in the geometry, our span is 15 meter. Okay, so we will take the span as 15 meter. Yeah. So let's take span 15 by 3 plus 5. So the value will be 3 5 is 15. So 5 plus 5 10. So 10 into 10, it becomes 100 Newton per meter square. Please forgive me for my handwriting. I will do it clear by practicing day by day. Okay. So 100 Newton per meter square. Now, on which portion the span will apply the load? Obviously, in the plan portion, because the span portion occurs at the plan area. That's why it will apply the load on the plan area. So the load will occurs on plan area. That's why 100 into plan area. And our plan area is 45. So 100 into 45, which is 4500 Newton. And this also we got the third load. Now the fourth portion means the last one. Self weight of wind bracing. Now where the wind bracings are used. Let make you understand by by one of the figure I am drawing. If this is roof truss, the length of roof truss is like this. Okay, these are the intermediate one. This will be central rise. Okay, these were the panels. At each portion, the panels will be occur. It means panels are put. It will be same as the front portion. Okay. So if the wind will flow like this, okay, or wind will apply some forces on the roof truss. So at that time, the starting portion of the roof truss and the end portion of the roof truss will need extra support because the intermediate ones are connected from the both sides. So there will be no some effect of the wind force on that. So the in wind force will affect mainly on the starting portion and the end portion. So for starting portion and the end portion, some of the extra bracings are provided that will be connected like this from this to this and from this to this. Okay, for starting and end portion. In some of the places, they also provide on the intermediate one also. But at the starting or the end, the bracings are provided for extra for extra support. Okay, that they will stable in the extra wind force also. That's why the extra support are provided. This is known as bracings, or is known as wind bracings, because they are used to resist the wind force at the starting and at the end. So for that also we need to assume the load. So the assume load of wind bracing 12 Newton meter square per meter square to 13 Newton per meter square. You can assume both of the one of them. Okay, so let us assume 12 Newton per meter square. Okay, obviously it will occur on the plan area because it's under the roof surface. Generally the thing is that the material which will be under the slopy portion, it will apply the load on plan area, and which will come above the roof portion, it will only apply on the slope portion. Okay, so the load will occur on the plan area. That's why 12 into plan area, which is 12 into 45. So the answer will be 540 Newton. This is the fourth one. So the each material is being used, the dead load of each material is being calculated. Now moving towards the total load calculation. The first one is 6536.4, another one is 4050, another one is 450, and so the total dead load. Now the increasing in dead load will only come, it will apply some of the extra material on the roof truss. At that time only it will be the extra dead load being calculated. So total dead load, but basically these force are we need to calculate it in any design of steel roof truss. The total dead load is equal to 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So first one was 6356.4 plus 4050 plus 4500 plus 540. The total load will be 15446.4. 15446.4 Newton. We can write it as 15.44 kilonewton. Okay, so this is the total load, total dead load. Now, as per I have explained you in the earlier video that load on roof truss occurs on the point. Okay, so let us divide on panel points. Before dividing on the panel points, we need to divide it on panels. We need to divide load on panels. So I'm taking one half roof truss like this. Okay. We have find the number of panels 10. Okay, for the whole roof truss. So for the half, it will be 5. So let us divide the panels. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. And this is 4. And this is 5. Okay. So the connection is like this because it is hot type truss. Okay. So there are 5 panels. So the load will be divided on 5. So the panels are intermediate. So the intermediate panel point. So the number of panels. So the dead load divided by number of panels. So what is the dead load? Dead load is 15.44 divided by number of panels, which is 5. So it will be 3.08 kilonewton. It means that each panel will take 3.08 kilonewton load. So here also it is 3.08. Here also it is 3.08. Here also it is 3.08. Here also it is 3.08 and here also it is 3.08. Now we need to find the load on the panel points. So the panel will transfer the load. Each element transfer their load equally. So the panel will transfer this load half to here and half to here. Half to here, half to here. Half to this point and half to this point. Half to this point, half to this point, likewise half to this point and half to this point. So the middle panels are like this one is intermediate panel. Okay, these all are intermediate. So if the half portion of 3.08 comes from here, it is 1.54 and half from here 1.54. So the total will be 3.08 kilonewton. Uh, total will be 3.08 kilonewton. Likewise, on each intermediate panel point, it will be 3.08 kilonewton. Leaving the two first and top joint because here only it will become up 1.54 and here only it will become 1.54. It is known as end panel point, which is known as end panel point. So at end panel point, it will be 1.54 kilonewton. This was understood by the only geometry. And the intermediate panel point equation is this for finding. So this is the 3.08 kilonewton, which is for intermediate panel point. So for end panel point, which is EPP, it will be IPP divided by 2, means 3.08 divided by 2. It will come 1.54 kilonewton. So this was the dead load calculation, and this was the calculation that we have divided the load, we have found the load, we have totaled the load, and we have divided to the panels and to the panel points also. So I hope, so my students, I hope you have understand the dead load calculation on the state group trust, and I hope you all get it. Okay, if any question or any query, then please comment, and I will give the reply as soon as it is possible.